Kingsport, when I was growing up, it being a small town.
Yeah.
I don't like it being, I've said for years, it's too big. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay, then can I, to finish that statement, because I can see.
It's going to get to where there's not even a county anymore.
If we don't go, you have to finish that statement, and the statement is then you'll have to agree as a resident to either pay higher taxes or reduce services. Whatever, even though you don't think you get any services, anything that you do get is going to be less. Because the only way to keep up with inflation that we can't control is come up with more revenue.
So where does that stop though? What about people like us?
I totally disagree. We own that.
But if you go to other cities, our tax rate is still pretty low compared to other.
It's
We
funny that
owned
didn't
a
happen
house.
during the prescribed
Yeah.
time.
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
First responder, there's been a
For
shooting.
10 years, we owned a house in North Georgia. Just sold it last year. I mean, that county is really small, has some of the finest schools. Our taxes were way lower than what.
You pay income tax?
No, we didn't live there. It was a second home.
So property taxes and sales taxes were less than Tennessee.
Both were a lot less than the Southern County.
How many lived in that area? How
Not
people?
many, and there's a lot of poor people. But they have a better schools.
That's what you want.
Their
I lived in
school is
Georgia.
better.
I
Their
came out
school.
of Jackson, Tennessee, annexed, increased taxes. Taxes in the were higher than they are here. My mom lived in New Jersey in a 2-bedroom condo
Well, I know everything that goes higher.
and paid $4,000 plus a year.
Yeah,
And she didn't use any services either.
I know. Yeah, it's a balance, guys, I know.
It is a problem though when everything keeps going up.
Yes.
Except for pay.
But we don't have to keep buying all these expensive
Your retirement's not
things.
gonna change.
We don't have to build a big Meadowview, pool
center,
and
yeah,
all
YMCA.
this kind of stuff out there.
Right.
We don't have to do
don't
that
know why
stadium to the way.
When we have schools that are falling apart, they are really literally falling apart, and it's. I agree.
We got sidewalks, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yet we don't have sidewalks. We'll never have sidewalks.
Yeah.
We will never have the bus service.
No.
We will,
Yeah,
we
cabs-
might eventually get lights, but that's all we'll get
Yeah.
for $1,300 a year.
That's the only reason I came out here. Not because I'm walking for state representative, because the newspaper won't cover me, but I know there's genuine concerns. Even if it's just a handful of people show up, they need to be talked to.
Well, I know, as of right now, I don't have a vote, but none of us wanted to be annexed. The
I'm just
14 of
concerned
us.
like all the annexations that went on, all the extra money came into the city and within 3 years they had to raise taxes again.
And they
All
talked
that
about,
revenue came in and they're spending it.
talked
They
about-
spent the winery, the aquatic center.
A fancy playground in Preston Forest.
they talked, what was it? And they even talked about charging us for garbage.
Garbage
pickup.
after,
If they charge us, I will say, do not pay money.
you still pay for it.
So the question about de-annexation is, the answer there, as far as you know, it's impossible to be
The way it would
de-annexed.
be
The cities don't have that. The cities implement, my understanding is cities implement what our legislators control on a national.
State legislature, that's what I'm running for. District 2, I mean, you already voted, but
no, I haven't.
you haven't voted. J.S. Moore, you take away a vote from Halsey, great. You might like Halsey too. I've known him my whole life, and
I don't know him, but I'll tell you this, who is our mayor and alderman and all that is on the board right now down there, I will vote against them every chance I get.
yeah, filming.
In the city?
And I don't know you,
Yes.
John. I don't know you, John, but the only one I can speak for that I trust is Tom Parham. And if he runs for mayor, if Nathan Vaughn doesn't run, Tom's got my vote. If Nathan Vaughn runs, I'll vote for Nathan.
Was Tom out here tonight?
He was, but he had to leave right before the mayor did. So he talked to me. I can show you the video, or you can check it out later.
Can I ask you why you would vote for him?
Who?
Tom,
because he's out there talking to the people.
And that's it? That's all you care about? People talking to the people? Or?
I think an alderman has to represent the people, not the businesses that way. I think the worst thing that happened to Kingsport, when Peggy Maddox Turner passed away, she was the only alderman that really represented the people. They appointed an Eastman VP to replace her. They didn't let people vote on it. They just appointed an Eastman person. That had not happened before. Since that time, it's always been someone in real estate, insurance. You have HR director for Domtar on there right now. I'm not sure exactly what your background is.
So you'd rather not have any business people or anybody working?
John, did you make the point before about serving your best customer? Did you make that point? Or
Well, as a city, as
Best customer being Eastman?
a board, as an alderman, your
in
customers,
business.
as an alderman, your customers are 51,000 residents and 4,400 businesses. And you have to represent them all.
Well,
And you have to realize that businesses, like for instance, would you have been supportive of the incentives that were given by the state and the city to keep Eastman headquartered here? Or would you have let Eastman go? How as a...
This has been Eastman's headquarters really since 1996 when they split from Kodak.
oh no, it was even
But,
before that.
well, it was really, yeah, it was.
From day one. But as
what would you
everybody knows, the city of Kingsport is run by Eastman.
Exactly, yeah, and the newspaper's owned by Eastman. It's all,
So how would you have voted? Would you have supported the incentives to keep the headquarters here or let them go?
I would have supported it. I mean,
would have
it's always been here.
The state is backing it in, because they're the ones that,
There's,
then on the news today,
Do you
that they
guys-
have to stay here for 13 years.
yeah. Yeah.
They have to be
If
in,
you really want a small city, if we really want a city that's pretty much non-existent, let Eastman go away.
no,
Eastman was here when we were growing
Well,
up. It was a small city.
In the 90s, they were talking that
Meade
they were
was
going to
here.
be,
Kingsport Press was here.
right.
The
The press was-
glass plant was here.
I think that's an important point. If Eastman leaves, this town is a mess. Try and sell your house if Eastman leaves.
But,
Town is non-existent.
but safer practices though. I mean,
Well,
My
you can't
suggestion
sell
would
it
be is
anyway
to keep
because-
trying to find somebody else.
did you see the newspaper where they had the spill
I know,
into the
everybody's-
river? Like,
Hey, well, that's
You know
happened
how
for
hard that
years.
is?
it has. But what the newspaper mentioned of it was just a snippet that way. And I talked to the Domtar guy and he said, no, it was much worse than that. But the paper.
It's the way it's always been. It's always been that way. I worked there and know.
Yeah. But
The joke was always the next day you'd have fishing again.
But in this area, in this area, there's a higher rate of rare cancers, ALS or Lou
It
Gehrig's
is
disease,
very high.
Parkinson's disease per capita than anywhere else in the nation. I mean,
My-
but
my
no one will
daughter-
ask the question.
My daughter just died 2 months ago from cancer. Her
I'm sorry.
oncologist is in Bristol, and he questioned me. He said, why?
Yeah.
But he's not, from around here.
What kind of cancer was it?
It was lung cancer, but it was not smoking cancer.
Right.
She had 2 rare types, so how did she get that?
My father worked at Eastman for all those years, but he was also a Vietnam War veteran. He works still. He's retired from Eastman, but he works at Food City bagging groceries. But anyway, he's got asbestosis in both lungs, and it's either from working at Eastman or being exposed to Agent Orange, which half of that stuff was produced here, or Dow Chemicals, either way. They make the dope at Eastman that goes to Holston Defense or BAE that goes in these chemical weapons. So we have to start asking those questions. That's tied into Gulf War syndrome that way, where people are getting nosebleeds, getting really sick. A lot of ALS victims that are younger are military veterans as well. And people that are my age. I enlisted during the Gulf War. I got out in 1994. But there's a high cancer rate in this area. ALS is serious, and Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, all these things. The rate in this area is higher than anywhere else in the nation. And nobody's asking that question because it's Eastman. So,
Do you, something that's pretty common knowledge is their filter tow. They make the tow for the cigarettes.
sure.
Are you going to go and tell them no longer to produce that product?
No, I'm not, but they can produce it more safely.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing it pretty safely now, but they get,
Well,
they get the EPA all over them.
if the acetic acid keeps going into the river, the only times that they report it, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been going on for 10 years. From 2005 to 2009, there were 15 major spills into the Holston River. And that landed them in, the, what do you call it, civil suit, whatever, somebody, class action lawsuit, that's it. But what they need to do is just fix the problem. I mean, if it keeps happening, build a bigger, better facility and deactivate this other one and do it correctly. I mean, if it's killing our citizens that way. So, anyway. I know you're here to talk about the annexation. But.
I think
I'm not sure how
I feel
to-
like I've
yeah.
made my case and that's what I wanted. So.
I mean, I know it's not ever gonna happen, but they put out there that they wanted to hear from us. I said, they don't wanna hear from me, but I'll be
And
here.
apparently they didn't.
And they
Thank
didn't.
you, John, for staying.
Well, I will be out at the next one.
Yeah.
This is my first time in the fire department. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah, it's your first time.
I mean, for an extended period
There's
of
no
time.
pole to slide down.
Yeah, yeah,
It's because the rooms are not upstairs, they're back there.
yeah.
Yeah, so I
But hey guys, I've enjoyed your comments. Thanks.
appreciate it, John.
Yeah.
I've
Thanks
tried to
for
put,
your time.
I've
Thanks for
tried to
staying.
put the other facts on the table, so, for whatever it's worth.
I think it's good to hear both sides of the story.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I like to see as well. And I try to understand both sides before I make a decision. Yeah, we can debate as to whether or not my decision-making and my voting is any good.
Well,
but-
you know, you have your opinion and, you know, you might have more information than we do too, so.
Right,
Well,
absolutely.
and it's like, we're not gonna change your opinion, and you're not gonna change our.
I understand. Yes, yes. But at least we can talk
You
about
may
it.
have modified my opinion a little bit.
That's all right. I've learned a lot too. I've learned a lot as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks, John.
thanks. Nice chatting with you as well. See you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, yeah.
You almost saying, is your car parked in the back?
I think we're pretty much.
We're sure that they planned it this way.
Yeah. You talking about the time wrong and everything?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this.